Recording in progress.
All right, I'm going to call the Thursday, December 19th business meeting of Narberth Borough Council to order. Pledge of allegiance?
Yes.
Okay. Doing allegiance in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. So I'm going to call the roll.
Council President Fred Bush.
Here.
Council Vice President Cindy Rickards.
Here.
Councilmember Ira Winston.
Here.
Councilmember Jean Burek.
Here.
Councilmember Jim Spear.
Here.
Councilmember Michael Gaudini.
Here.
Councilmember Mike Salmonson.
Here.
And Mayor Andrea Deutsch.
Here.
Okay. I am pleased at this meeting to recognize our new incoming borough manager, Maggie Dobbs. And that means I also have to acknowledge that our current borough manager, Matt West, is at his last meeting.
You don't have to. I'm sorry.
Well, Matt came to us last year at a kind of turbulent time for the borough and helped us ensure the smooth functioning of our budgeting process. And then came on as borough manager and has done a great job bringing the borough back to a smooth functioning. And we're going to be very sorry to see him go. I don't know if anybody...
We want to give you a little something from council and keep a little Narberth love in your home.
Thank you.
And Maggie, I don't know, do you want to introduce yourself for the folks? Should we save that for January when I introduce yourself? When would be the right time?
Yeah, we can save it for January.
Okay, we'll do that. So you can tell us more about yourself at that time, and I believe that's it for my presence comments. Thanks again, Matt. And, good luck with your new,
Good
your
luck
new
storming
gig.
the castle.
Start of the year. Yeah. Mayor Deutsch.
I just want to say thank you to Matt for all he's done for righting the ship with the borough. When you came in, we were in unique circumstances and not really doing very well, and you straightened everything out, and we thank you greatly, and we wish you the best of luck, and don't be a stranger.
Thank you, Mayor.
And Maggie, we're so excited to have you, and on to new adventures. We're starting from a good place.
Glad to be here.
And I'm excited to have you in the borough.
Thank you.
Other than that, I just want to wish everyone a happy holiday season, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy New Year. If people still have shopping to do, I would encourage everybody to support our downtown stores and shop downtown, eat and drink, and keep it local, because Amazon doesn't need our dollars, but we do. Yeah, so keep it local if you can. So that is it. Happy New Year, everyone.
And burn ban is done.
Well,
Okay,
it was up to you guys to extend it.
Yeah, I don't think that council has any plans to extend it at this point. It's been pretty wet, and the county also instituted its own ban, so I think we'll leave it up to them if they want to keep that going. Which
All right, so we're still under a burn ban because of the county.
well,
I think the county expired.
Expired, yeah.
yeah.
Oh, it did, and they did not expand it.
So I believe ours is expired. I don't think there's any reason for us to.
today.
Yeah, we
That's
set
why I'm
it
asking.
tonight.
we set it to expire today, and then
Okay.
if we needed to, we could re-up it tonight.
I do want to note
Expired
that we are
16.
still in drought conditions.
Okay.
So for what that's worth, we are still in drought. I have not had an opportunity to talk to Bill Henderson, but I guess if it expired tonight, I could reissue a new one if need be, if he thinks that for the new year.
Yeah, I mean,
Do we want to take
it
it?
seems pretty wet out there. I would
Yeah.
be surprised if he wanted to.
The county
I don't know.
expired the 16th,
Okay.
I'm saying.
He may be assisting Santa in his endeavors. You want to go
I-
check with him? Like right now? We could
When
see.
it comes, you know.
Yeah.
I think he might be helping as Santa.
Oh, I see.
So I don't
I
know
see.
that it would be a good time.
Go ask Santa about the burn ban.
I can ask Santa about the permit.
Yeah.
Tell them you're gonna have a fire pit on Tuesday.
Yeah.
I don't think that would be an opportunity.
All right, I think we can let this one go.
Okay,
Okay.
All
perfect.
right.
Good answer.
We'll wait for Santa to appear here. It's a little loud right now in here. All right, I hear the kids.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
Lots of
why we
excitement.
wait? Shift was on Fox 29, Bob Kelly.
Really?
Yeah,
Very
they
nice.
did an awesome. It was probably a 5 or 6 minute story.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was really long. Kimberly went through a bunch of different soaps, and then Alicia went over to the vintage side. So hopefully someone will grab a clip
All right.
and share on social media because it was really, really cool. That's great.
Excellent.
All right, I think it's settled down enough for us to continue here. So is there a borough manager's report?
Yeah. Thank you.
Short but sweet.
I just appreciate every single one of you, and I could not have done it by myself. And I know you, had kind words to say about me, but I am just one of the team, and I could not have done it without all of you and your support, and I could not have done it without my staff and all of their support. And that's the only way this thing works, is if you all connect as a team and have that shared vision. So it was unique. It's really hard for me to leave because I really love Norberth, and this is a really unique opportunity, and it's making it really easy for me knowing that you've got a really good successor in Maggie, and I'm excited to see where you go in the next several years. Again, thank you. I appreciate all of you. I appreciate all of you, all of you, all of you, Hiram, all of you. All of you. Thank you. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. Let's move on to public comment. I see no public comment in this room, so we can move to online. If you wish to make a public comment, please raise your hand, make yourself known. Anybody wish to make public comment? Okay.
Yes, I'd like to make a public comment.
All right, go ahead.
Calvary Scanlon, Sabine Avenue.
Sure.
First thing I'd like to say, I'd like to talk about AEDs in the borough. We all know AEDs save lives. Narberth Park, Sabine Park, and Narberth train station, the center of town, are so well used for the safety of Narberth residents and visitors. We should have AEDs in these places. I don't know if you knew, but Al Davey, who's the executive director of Narberth Ambulance, offers a free service, and he assesses in the town and will give recommendations for the placement of AEDs. They work with a supplier, and the AEDs are offered at cost to the borough. I think this is something that is overdue for the borough because of all the events that we have. Now, there is one at the borough building, but that is not really always accessible in an emergency. So I strongly suggest the office and council reach out to Narberth Ambulance, who is our EMS provider, and get multiple AEDs in the Narberth, in the borough. This type of thing would directly benefit Narberth residents and borough. So many things in the borough don't seem to directly benefit residents. This is something that's visible and would directly benefit residents. Now, I'd also like to continue on a totally different vein. And so, Fred, at the workshop meeting earlier in the month, I asked you about the plans for Sabine and what's going on up there, and you told me to go to the website. Well, I looked at the 201 tab, and all that I saw was the plans that were listed at 2022. So I'd like to ask you to just tell us what the current plans are.
So, Carolyn, if you'd like to finish your comment, is there anything else?
Okay, I'll continue. So there was a survey done at 201, and I want to know when and how you're going to share the details of that survey. Have you reached out to any appraisal firms? When will this appraisal be made public? And if there are subdivision plans for 201, how and when will those be made public? I also want to know if any developers have approached the borough. Have you reached out to any developers? Are there any development plans in the works? RFP plans? Development plans? And if there is a sale of any parts of the 201 property, how will that be made public for the intention to sell?
All right, so council gave direction to staff to prepare subdivision plans for the property so that we can have it appraised and determine what the financial implications would be for selling a portion of the property. So that is proceeding. I have not yet seen the results of the surveys. I have not seen, none of this has been completed yet. So it is all in progress, and there's been no other discussion with a developer. Council's had no discussion with developers on the project.
So there are
it's in
subdivision
progress.
plans in the works?
There are, we have not decided to subdivide the property. There's been no decision made. What we'd like to do is figure out the financial implications so we can make a decision. We want to know what the borough would stand to gain if there were a subdivision of the property. That's what we are trying to determine right now. We are not taking any action other than getting it appraised, setting it up to get appraised. That is our action right now. We are working on getting appraisals, and then we will proceed with a public deliberation at that point.
And how will we know about that when the appraisal's been made, that subdivision plans are in, what's going on with the property?
As I said, there will be public deliberation once we have that information, so it'll be at public meetings.
Do you have a timeline?
I do not, other than this is in progress. All right, thank you.
So we're talking like the next 6 months, next 3 months?
I don't know. Is there anybody else who wishes to make a public comment? Okay, seeing no one, I'm going to close public comment. We have no presentation items tonight, so let's move to the consent agenda.
I'd like to move to approve the consent agenda items A, B, C, and E. And I will explain why I omitted D after we get a second and we open for discussion.
Second.
Okay, Mr. Samuelson?
Yeah. So F&A looked at the potential appointment for someone to the Human Relations Commission. I expressed a concern since I'm pretty involved in the HRC. I'm thrilled that a young person wants to serve on the commission. I think it's a great idea. I did express a concern because the person is in school, as I understand it, out of state. And because the HRC has an investigatory function that could involve people basically having a hearing, my own experience and potential bias is that it's difficult to be a hearing officer by Zoom. And so I just wanted to double check and talk with this person about their availability and whether they'd be, if and when, you don't have hearings very often, but if and when there was a hearing, whether they would make themselves available, notwithstanding the fact that they're in school, for a hearing and maybe need to come from out of town to attend that. If not, it may not be a big deal. This is against a backdrop of we are potentially, I'm actually in charge of looking at the charge of the HRC, and I met with Rebecca Starr, so we're actually in the process of potentially coming up with some recommendations to change the makeup of the HRC and part of their functioning in any event. So it's sort of against that backstop. So I asked to just table this till next month. I'd like to talk to the applicant, make sure that they understand what the needs and qualifications are.
And I will take the heat on this one because I encouraged Mai to apply for this because she is so interested in local government. She was one of the founders of the Pride in the Park. This is her interest in government, and I did not even consider the Zoom possibility.
And again,
being
it's
an
not a
issue.
deal breaker. The
So-
law doesn't say you have to have the hearing in person. And certainly, you know, the EOC, the Pennsylvania Human Relations Commissions, did do hearings during Zoom, during COVID, you know, over Zoom. I find that it's difficult to judge credibility. You know, it's difficult to have the interaction when you have a commission of 2 or 3 people
Yeah.
working together to just have that.
I
So,
appreciate that.
so, I mean, again, it might not even be a deal breaker for me if she says, no, I can only attend by Zoom, but I'd like to know that. Otherwise, and I don't want that to be a reflection of I'm concerned about her
Oh,
or her application in any way, but. So, my recommendation is just we table till next month. Give us on FNA the opportunity to talk to her hopefully at our FNA meeting next month and be able to proceed.
Any concerns, any further discussion? All right, we are voting on consent agenda items A, B, C, and E. All those in favor? Okay, it's unanimous. And then motion D will be tabled. We haven't brought it up, so I don't think we need to formally table it. We'll take it up again next month, assuming we get a positive discussion. Okay, consideration items, 10A. Fee schedule.
Okay. I move that Borough Council adopt Resolution 2024-26 to approve the attached fee schedule for 2025.
Second.
Okay.
This is one of our final annual actions of council. This codifies all of our fees, our anticipated fees for the upcoming year. Most fees have been transferred over from 2024 into 2025 with the exception of police accident reports, which is bumped up to $15 per report. And the sewer and solid waste rates have been added to the fee schedule, which council approved as part of the 2025 operating budget.
All right, so all but one of the fees remains the same.
Yes,
Okay.
outside of sewer and solid waste.
Sewer and solid waste and the police.
Yep.
Reporting, okay. Questions from council? Okay, let's vote to adopt resolution 2024-26, the fee schedule for 2025. All those in favor? Okay, it's unanimous. 10B is a lease extension.
I move that Borough Council approve a second lease extension agreement for the Wonder Spring Daycare offices located at 201 Sabine, effective July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2028.
I will second.
Okay.
So this was discussed in exec session last month. This is for the Wonder Spring office space. If you remember, this was also, we also asked them, they wanted to only use half the space. At first they were thinking they were just going to leave because it's too much space. And they said, well, what if they use half of it? And what if the borough can use the other half for long-term storage? They have agreed to it. It will be under lock and key, under unused offices, and that's what is represented with this 3-year lease extension. 50% of the lease that was to be renewed this year, or in mid-2025, for the next 3 years. They're taking 50% of the space, we're reducing their lease by 50%. This is recommended by our property manager, Andy Rubin.
And we do have material that we would like to store in that space that's currently taking up room in various borough.
And we're also negotiating with them to see if we can use the space before July 1st, which is when the lease would go into effect, because the spaces are currently vacant.
Okay. Questions from council? We've discussed this. I think they've agreed to the terms that we proposed. Okay. Let's vote to approve the lease extension for 201 Sabine. All those in favor? Okay, it is unanimous. 10C, Police Advisory Committee.
I move that.
Sorry.
That is C at this point.
Right.
I move that Borough Council approve the attached charge setting forth the goals and objectives for the Narberth Police Advisory Committee. Second.
All right, we'd like to summarize some of these, the charge here, the changes.
I can do it. So the Police Advisory Committee, this has been reviewed by the Police Advisory Committee. They had some changes. It went back and forth between the committee. We also had input from Chief String and Mary Deutsch. So it really was a collaborative process between the committee and everyone. And there were really just some tweaks to the language in it, but it's attached in the agenda, and the committee has reviewed it. And the Public Health and Safety Committee has recommended approval.
And the Police Advisory Committee themselves, have they?
Yes.
Yeah, and they're also in support of this? Okay.
And also FNA was part of this too, because this is part of our charge of reviewing all these commissions and charges. So we sent it to Public Health and Safety, and came back to us to recommend as well, so,
Okay.
which we did this evening.
All right. Sounds like everybody's recommending it. So that's good. Any other comments or?
Just to confirm, I reviewed all the charges and I'm fine with all of them. So,
Okay. All right. Well, let's vote on approving the charge for the Narberth Borough Police Advisory Committee. All those in favor? Okay, it is unanimous. All right. Let's move to 10D, which is our police contract. Motion?
I'll make a motion. I move that Borough Council approve the settlement agreement reviewed and discussed in executive session between the Borough and the Borough's Police Union, Lower Marion FLP Lodge 28, provided that the settlement agreement is ratified by the union.
Second?
Okay, so we've been in prolonged negotiations with the police union on the terms for this contract, but has borne fruit. Last time we had to go to arbitration, which was a very lengthy and expensive and extremely tedious procedure for all involved. So I think both the borough and the police department, I hope, are happy that we're not going through arbitration for this. And as usual, neither side is getting all of what they want, but I think this is
I think it's a fair representation. The added benefit, as we discussed as part of the budget amendment, was to provide short-term disability for all borough employees, which is also included in this contract. That's the major change from existing to current agreement.
And there was a contract ambiguity before as to whether the officers were going to get this short-term disability. Right now, it's clarified that we will provide it.
Yes.
Yeah. Any other questions or comments from council members on this? And you've already figured in the financial implications of this to this year's budget, or is it going to require, I forget, make a budget change?
So if we get this ratified in time, I'm hoping to get it approved by council this evening and then get the union to sign off on it. We can then process back wages for 2024, which were included in the 2024 budget, but at a lower rate. So we will be over budget for wages this year, but for 2025 and onward, it does reflect these current wages.
Right.
And all of these other benefits associated with it.
So this is effective January 1st, 2024, so we will need to
Right.
reevaluate going back to the beginning of the year. Okay. All right, let's vote on approving the settlement agreement and police contract extension. All those in favor? All right, it is unanimous. All right, looking through. 10E, well, this is related.
Kenny, I move to authorize council president to execute settlement agreement and consolidation of Norwood Police contract extension effective January 1, 2024, December 31st, 2027.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Second. Okay.
Wait a minute, I'm sorry.
So we have to,
So this is connected, and right now that council has adopted that settlement agreement, we have the original contract, 15 to 18, then we have an arbitration award, and now we have this settlement agreement. So there are 3 separate documents that we would need to navigate moving forward. So what this does, we agreed as part of our bargaining that we will consolidate the contract, arbitration award, and the settlement agreement into one document. So we're only all going off of one document. But to do that, we need to authorize signatories for that. We did not have time to prepare that for council to consider tonight. So that authorizes the council president to authorize that, to sign off on it once it gets created.
it won't reflect any changes.
It's
It
an
will just-
administrative change.
Can I ask why the language is different in the packet?
Oh,
Motion E. It's a different motion.
I would read what was in the
yeah.
packet,
Yeah.
which was provided by our labor council.
Okay, yeah, I read it
Authorize
from
council
the.
president to execute settlement agreement and consolidate. I thought, what Cindy, what did
No,
you just read?
I read it from the
This is-
agenda.
The packet I have has the same text that's here. Like,
There's just more of it, as well as to execute a consolidated collective bargaining agreement reflecting.
oh, I'm just looking at the, oh, okay, you're looking from the motion?
Yeah.
All right, so
Okay,
why don't you,
want me to revise this? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I revise, I move the Borough Council authorize the council president upon ratification and execution by the union to execute a settlement agreement on behalf of the borough, as well as to execute a consolidated collective bargaining agreement reflecting the terms of the settlement agreement, the July 9th, 2021 Act 111 Interest Arbitration Award, and the 2015 to 2018 collective bargaining agreement between the parties.
okay, is there any objection to this amended motion? All right, motion's amended. Now, going back to Matt's discussion, any questions on what happened here, on what this would entail?
It's instead of, administratively, it's really cumbersome to try to navigate separate documents to look at specific things that trump, like the interest arbitration award would have something that trumps something in the collective bargaining agreement. Now we have the settlement agreement, it's a third document. It's an administrative exercise to make it one agreed upon document.
Okay. All right, let us vote on the amended motion as read by Vice President Rickards. All those in favor? Okay, thank you. Final action item, 10F.
I move that Borough Council approve a consulting agreement with Matt West, Urban Edge Analytica LLC to provide administrative and technical support to borough staff.
Second.
Okay. Ms. Dobbs, do you want to take this one, or?
Sure, I can take this one. So this was a conversation that Matt and I had about him providing some additional professional services heading into 2025 to aid in the transition, simply because he has been so instrumental in setting up the finances and capital improvements plan this year, and just given his in-depth insider understanding and information on that, and me being new to this type of manager position and just needing some additional assistance with kind of the financial budgeting and CIP aspect of everything, he has provide some additional consulting services through the next year to kind of lead us, not lead us necessarily, but to provide that kind of background information to aid me in leading us through the planning process through the budget season next year. So the contract of services would be not to exceed 10 hours per month through the duration of 2025. These services have already been budgeted in the approved budget under professional services. So that is going to be there as just a backstop to allow for me to consult with Matt over the next year, going through the capital improvements planning and the budget process to ensure that all of the good work that he has put in to aid the borough to where we are today, we continue that level of success moving forward.
I'll note that we did intentionally raise the amount for professional services in the budget to allow for this sort of consultation or any other support that would be necessary. So this is in keeping with our budget
And it's not the first time the council's entered into an agreement like this. This is what actually brought Matt back to Borough Council as a consultant, so it's the same form of agreement. So this isn't unique to this.
That's right.
Moving forward, this has already been.
We have already had experience with Urban Edge Analytica LLC.
I was just gonna make the point that it's technically not with Matt, it's with his LLC, so he's not an employee. You know, it's an independent contractor agreement with the entity, in case anybody's listening.
I know, I
Employment
updated-
lawyer, you know,
I did
there's less
update the,
exposure to the.
I did update the motion sheet, but I guess it didn't, some of you got it, some of it didn't.
Yeah.
And I know it should just be my business.
Okay. All right, let's vote on approving this consulting agreement with Urban Edge Analytica LLC. All those in favor? Okay, it's unanimous. That is it for our consideration items. Information items, the reports, I think all of these reports are actually in the packet. The 2025 council and committee meeting schedules are in the packet. Those have been updated to reflect the errors that were, they're correct now? Okay. So what's in the packet is going to be advertised as our meeting schedule. The one notable change from our usual schedule at the moment is that the October workshop meeting has been canceled because it conflicts with Rosh Hashanah, with one of the high holidays. It conflicts with one of the Jewish high holidays. So that is currently not on our schedule. And depending on the budgeting process, we may or may not have an informational meeting at some point, but the regular meeting is canceled. Otherwise, there's no change to the committee meeting schedules or the council meetings for next year. Master Parks Plan 30-day comment period. Would you like to discuss that?
Yeah, I think you go for it. Sure. So the draft plan was posted publicly today, and the 30-day comment period starts today. I just wanted to really thank everyone who participated in the process. It was a really robust public input process that involved hundreds of residents, all the community groups, the organizations. The study committee did a great job, and they were very enthusiastic about capturing the needs of the community to lay out and steer the vision for our parks. So the comment period will be open until January 20th, I believe. And I encourage everyone to go to the webpage. There's a master park plan webpage on the Borough website, and there's a comment form that everyone can go to and submit their comments. And those comments will then be incorporated by the Simone Collins, the consultant, and then the final plan will be sent to council in advance of the February 5th workshop meeting, and then up for adoption on February 20th. Is there anything else you wanted to add?
Will there be outreach to the public to let them know where to find it and?
So Alan will be sending it out, and maybe Kelsey as well, sending it out through social media and through the Borough newsletter tomorrow. Hopefully we'll also be reaching out to the individual groups, the study committee and planning commission and things like that.
All right. Is there any new business? Old business? Comments for the good of council?
Happy holidays.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. We will have an short executive session, I think, after this meeting to discuss a personnel matter. I don't think we have anything else to discuss. Okay, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
7:35. Motion to adjourn.
Do it quickly before 7:36.
All those in favor? All right, so you're